1975 music review. This one's called Cunning, Stunts. It's by Caravan, and I have to confess that Caravan passed me by really in the 70s, so I'm not that familiar with this band. This apparently was their fourth offering, and yeah, I think that's about right. No, sorry, it's sixth studio album for this progressive rock band. And as I say, I don't really know any of them. They're fronted by one Pi Hastings, and he plays electric guitar and acoustic guitars and sings. Dave Sinclair, another significant member of this band, he's on the keyboard, synthesizers, coordinates strings and brass, and the others in the band, Jeffrey Richardson plays viola and electric guitar, and also a bit of flute and whistle, and Wilbur Stride, of course, and Mike Wedgworth on bass guitar, congas and vocals, and he also adds some string arrangements on a few tracks, and then Richard Coughlin's on drums, well, what have we got here? The album was described by AllMusic as solid, varied and interesting, with plenty of character, but other reviews have been a bit critical, saying it was nowhere near as creative as For Girls Who Grow Plump in the Night, which was released 2 years earlier. As progressive rock goes, well, let's get into it. Stuck in a Hole, second track, a bit more up tempo, a bit more sort of pop rocky, some interesting sort of instrumental agility on the synthesizers. Singing wise, they sound very more like a pop group rather than a progressive rock group, has to be said. Perfectly acceptable, not really going to set the world alight, but it's interestingly pleasant and middle of the road. Track 3 is Lover, and I was quite impressed this one. I think the orchestral sort of strings fill this track out, and it becomes quite sort of not epic but powerful, and it's a slow sort of not blues, a slow rock with emphasis on keyboards and a little bit of guitar, but the strings make this track impactful, I think. No Backstage Pass is a pretty gentle prog rock number, nice vocals from Hastings, nice electronic piano. It conjures up that sort of Canterbury scene feel. You can imagine them wearing flowers in their hair, sitting in the fields with this in the background as they're probably either taking a hit off a joint, or possibly some nice sparkling wine, and they're dressed in white with white and yellow hats. Intimate couples exchanging pleasantries. Well, it was 1970. What was it? 75. Yeah, pleasant. That's a word that's being reciprocated. Closer on side 1 then is Welcome the Day. It's a little bit more funky here, and there's a nice interplay mid-tune between synthesizer and lead guitar. Chunky, one would describe the tempo. Yeah, pleasing end to an above average first side. Now let's move on to the second side, and from the notes I've read, this is the 18-minute composition called Dab Song Concerto concerto, a tongue-in-cheek there use of spoonerism, as is referred to, the language, the naughty sort of humorous language that litters this album, the album title for a start, and the previous ones. They're sort of like to impress one with a sort of a clever contrast in the words. So to this second side then, the Dabson Concerto, and it's a grand piece. It's a combination of a little bit of jazz, sort of rock, not soft machine, not that far jazz, but sort of dabbling jazz. Then there's the progressive elements where the keyboards take on a sort of a minor Keith Emerson role, like his little brother, rather than the extraordinary Emerson, but you can see that they're adding in quips to this. And then there's also elements of yes that I think flourish when the total sound sort of drowns you as you sort of seep it into your bloodstream, so to speak. And so it's a pretty impressive piece of music. I just get the sense that if I'd heard it in its entirety in 1975, I would have been probably more impacted by it. Now, at the grand old age of 69, having sort of gone through progressive rock, gone through rock, gone through elements of jazz, it's unfair of me to say, but it sounds relatively ordinary. But I've got to put myself back into 1975, and then I can appreciate it more fuller. You can imagine they would have put this together in their live set as a sort of crescendo to end the album.